I think the pandemic didn't actually create anything new. I think that the pandemic acted as a catalyst to actually speed up and increase the adoption of several trends. We've seen a very intense timeline on Tmall with pretty much a luxury brand launching after the other. Live streaming arrived as, at some point, the only alternative to the fact that there was a lockdown on the store. And what was very interesting about it is that it also created new ways of live streaming, because traditionally speaking, we're looking at live streaming as it was incepted by Taobao and streamers. And brands started to look at it in a more creative way, from live streaming big events, creating big events that were actually with the main purpose of being live streamed. Empowering sales associates to also host live streaming on their own with a different totally set of objectives when it comes to specifically engaging with their clientele, for example. And on the social selling, it's a little bit the same. We didn't wait for the pandemic, obviously, to realize that sales associates were connecting with WeChat with their clients. But at some point, brands that started to develop this and to streamline those processes and to professionalize it were really able to take advantage of that during the pandemic. And it really put spotlight on that topic and on the huge potential of better leveraging on the sales associate through clienteling and conversational commerce to drive revenue. I think that what we're seeing now is that there is, once again, different type of live streaming that can be done with different type of objectives, and accordingly, that is going to require the right type of strategic planning when it comes to defining your channel strategy, when defining the content of your live streaming itself, and more specifically on how to promote it. Is live streaming good for luxury brands? It can be, but it can also be a total failure. And so we still have cases of brands that actually failed on their live streaming attempt, but some others that did really, really well. And it's about finding the right recipe that once again aligns with your strategy and objectives. It's been a long time that the luxury industry has a very strong focus on millennials at first and even the Gen Z now. And at some point it started with a motivation that was mostly linked to the potential in terms of business from that segment. What we're realizing also is that that segment is not consuming brands the same way as the older segments. There are massive differences in terms of customer motivation and perception of luxury brand. And one of them is the fact that the country of origin for the young generation plays much less value. For the older generation, we talk about people that discovered the concept of luxury as being embodied by Western brands. The younger audience, you talk about people that were born in China at a time where a strong position for the market and a strong brand was already established. And the association of luxury, know-how, and craftsmanship that traditionally was associated to the West is not anymore having as much importance as it used to be. And so that creates a lot of opportunity for brands, because that new type of consumer are recentering themselves on another set of consideration. Elements of status symbol are less relevant. Elements of value associated to craftsmanship are less relevant, and country of origin is less relevant. And that creates obviously a huge opportunity for local brands that, no matter what, are not dealing with that potential challenge on how to adapt my product strategy and my branding strategy to the market, and on local companies that obviously start a step ahead in terms of knowing the market and the culture, that had to address in the past challenges linked to eventually quality and know-how. And what we see now is brands that are able to manufacture fantastic products and highly relevant products locally, and that perfectly answer to the needs of a young generation that care less about where it comes and that actually value potentially even more the fact that it comes from China because of that element of pride.